It's been requested that I review your reptile enclosures. Beats me why, I don't know why you value my opinion, but I said if you want me to. You can tag your enclosure on Instagram with the hashtag GoHerping review, and it's only been a couple days, there's already almost 300 posts. So, a lot more than I expected, and we can get started. But I just noticed this. What is this? Why is the the image for the official GoHerping review image is a child in a cage? Where does that, I don't know Instagram that well. I don't know. Okay, let's just begin. So I'll just kind of browse over each image, see what I notice, and give it a rating 0 to 5 stars. Starting with this person's Juvenile corn snake vivarium. For a juvenile, 4x2x2 sounds like a pain finding the corn, but I'm guessing that kind of know the corn's favorite spots and all that. So, I mean, it looks really cool. There's nothing that stands out a ton to me, just because I'm guessing a lot have this style, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you, I mean, look at my setup. This is the most classic YouTube setup ever. I'm in a gaming racing chair. So there's nothing wrong with being like similar to others, but yeah, it's the first thing I noticed. They have pretty cool heating. A lot of people put lights inside, but do not think about the animal touching the lamp and burning itself, because just because the lamp heats up the spot the right temperature doesn't mean the lamp is the right temperature, and they can get pretty severe burns on that kind of thing. So the cage, although I'm sure the cage is also hot, it's a lot less hot than the actual lamp, and it has to be metal or else it might catch on fire. So I think it's cool. It just, but to start out, I'm gonna give 3 stars. It's nothing against this one, but I don't know how the other ones will compare. So yeah, a 3-star rating because everything looks adequate. It's just nothing's crazy special. Let's move on. I think that was a pretty nice review. We got a video of a leopard gecko. So something interesting is disagreement on everything, every part of husbandry anywhere. People disagree. I've personally worked directly with, 5 other people with reptiles, like people that help me care for them, just all this stuff. And even me and all of them and everyone in between them, we've always disagreed on things. But we know that multiple things work. So what makes me say that relating to this? Well, the first thing I saw was loose substrate with the leopard gecko. And I don't personally have a very strong opinion either way. I haven't used loose substrate with leopard geckos, but I also don't see a ton of information on it. It's always all back and forth on whether it's okay, whether it's not. So if I see any leopard geckos with loose substrate, just know that my opinion is I don't use it personally. I don't tend to recommend it, but I don't think it's the worst thing ever, and I think that a lot of people have made it work. As you can see, this is a beautifully healthy leopard gecko. Perfect sheds, all the toes, a nice chunky tail, and good to go. I can't really see the enclosure though, so I'm also gonna give it 3 because it looks very tall for a leopard gecko. Like, why? He probably doesn't need such a tall enclosure, but I can't see most of it. Hey, that's my post, which didn't even get the top post on the hashtag. My poor ego. Okay, we've got another wooden enclosure. I'm gonna guess this is also for a corn. Well, there's a little calcium dish, so it's not a corn. What's it for? It's for a leopard gecko. It's so tall. Why do people keep giving such tall enclosures to leopard geckos? You're wasting so much space. Like I mean, it's not being wasted, I guess, because what else are you gonna do with that 1 foot of space in your room? It just looks kind of funny having such a tall enclosure. I'm gonna guess this person is not from the United States. They're probably somewhere in Europe. Scotland. Hey, I was right. Because people never really use this kind of setup that I see very often in the United States, but it looks like they nailed all the basics. They got those 3 hides, the humid hide, the calcium dish, the water bowl, food. They probably either put a food bowl in or whatever. They've got some stones over here, I'm guessing, for basking. And another argument, of course, is do you use under tank heating or over tank heating for leopard geckos? Again, I think either can work, but I way prefer under tank heating simply because it's way easier to regulate. For example, if you're using a actual heat bulb that lets off light, and it's connected to a thermostat, it's going to be turning on and off constantly. Because I've used heat lamps with some animals, so you can use stuff like ceramic heat emitters, which probably work. You can also use radiating heat panels, so I'm sure they've got it down. I don't know what 30 degrees is Celsius, so let's assume that's good. I'll give it 4 stars. The substrate I think is kind of weird, but why not? I'm in a good mood. Let's give it 0 stars. It's a bed. That's actually really cool. It's a converted loft bed. Wow. This has to be a snake though, right? Yeah, it's for a BCI. That's really creative, actually. That's such a good use of space, because I guess you can't really put an animal enclosure over your bed unless you're gonna be like right there, and that, I don't know, that sounds kind of uncomfortable. So it's very clever to sleep on top of the animal. It's a very good use of space, and it looks good. Like it looks well built and very sturdy. I'd say the only thing is, well, one, I can't really see the inside, and that's the only picture, but I think with housing, a lot of people are like, you need to keep humidity in your house low, to keep the house good quality and keep like the value up and stuff, because anything over something like 50% humidity increases the likelihood of your house molding, or I don't know what else. I don't know much about architecture, but basically if say your boa has like 60% humidity, I'd say there's a chance that this could start rotting if it's not sealed. But also, if you just keep an eye on it and see if any mold pops up, you could address that as it happens. 8 by 4 by 4 feet, that's really cool. Oh, it goes all the way behind. I was thinking there was a wall there, but it's literally the whole thing. That's really, this gets 5 stars. I think that's cool. I like it. Look at me. Everyone was like, oh, he's gonna be so mean, he's gonna make fun of everyone, but so far I think these are good enclosures. Also, I'm not like, you see all the names, so I don't want anyone to like be harassed. So next one. This is for a bearded dragon. Same thing, bioactivity with beardies. It's a big topic of debate. I have used bioactive for some temporary beardies, because when I used to take in animals, people would often give us the entire enclosure. And so like I'd go on Craigslist, they'd be like, you get this beardie and the full setup. And sometimes I just used the setup. And there was one beardie in a pretty cool custom-made 40. It was a bit small, but it's kind of the same idea to this. And it was a very healthy animal. It had lived on there for years, but there is still that risk of impaction, especially because bearded dragons lick everything like all the time. But this is cool. I'd say one thing probably a lot of people complain about is there's no full-on hide. Where is the there it is, full-on hiding space, like where it can get completely dark. When I've given beardies hides and stuff, only about half of them ever use it. I'd say it's still good to do. And also the carrots. Some people claim that beardies have choked on large carrot chunks, so I usually just shred them, but that's a small thing. Got that calcium or multivitamin or whatever it is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I give it 3 stars because I don't have any big complaints. So this is a 3-month update on a bioactive tank for a ball python, actually. Even though it doesn't look like a ball python's natural habitat, I'm sure it works well because these are more higher humidity. Did I just have a stroke? Higher humidity. I forgot what I was gonna say. I rate it 4 stars because it looks cool, but I don't know much about it, and I also don't see Boo. Blaze, I like seeing all of your random animals' names, and it's a Chinese water dragon. Oh, at first I thought the plants like, oh, the plants grew so much, but it looks like they just added more plants. No, I don't know. I can't tell if they grew or if they added more. So I literally know nothing about Chinese water dragon care. The closest I've cared for it would be a plume basilisk. So I'm guessing they're somewhat similar. So I'm simply gonna go off looks. It looks cool. I quite like it. 4 stars. These are the most random ratings. What if these are all... I guess the problem is a lot of these people already kind of know my husbandry opinions, and so they're probably going to only post the ones that kind of line up. So I've got a bioactive for Ziggy, the leopard gecko. It's a pretty leopard gecko. I actually really like the pattern. It's the most leopard-like looking leopard gecko I think I've ever seen. Again, we got the bioactive substrate, all sorts of opinions. You can see I think that's sand and stuff in it. So if I were like selling to them, I would, because when people give us an animal, I kind of give them that promise of they're going to be in these sorts of setups, and that's usually a non-loose substrate, no sand and stuff. So obviously Ziggy looks really good. Again, this tile is probably for basking because we got the lamp, it heats up. LEDs, I think, on that side for the plants. A snake plant, that's the only one I can name by name. It's pretty cool. It's just not at all what I would do. I give it 2.5. I feel like I can't keep giving 3. It feels weird giving it 2.5. It's just in comparison. I would not, like if I had to pick out of all the enclosures so far, I wouldn't pick this one for one of my animals. Nothing personal. This is a very basic sort of Petco setup, you could say. I've literally seen all these products at Petco. We've got a, what I'm guessing a 40? I can't tell how tall it is. It looks like a really tall Exoterra. We've got a young leopard gecko. It's my least favorite so far. It's probably not a surprise. Reptile carpet. I've used it a ton. It's a pain to clean. A lot of people claim that claws get stuck in it, that their teeth get stuck in it. Not once have I ever had that happen over 4 years of using reptile carpet, but I think it harboring bacteria is a valid concern. I used to just soak mine in really hot soapy water for a Goldie, my personal leopard gecko, and all is well, but still it just looks kind of boring, I guess. Especially after seeing all the bioactives and then you see a more simple setup, but this is the kind of thing that I use. You've got the 3, how many hides? 3 hides. This is kind of clever. It's the poop corner because leopard geckos usually pick a spot and keep going there. So they actually put paper towel there. But you could have taken it out before taking the picture because that's a lot of buildup. I would say you should take that out like every day or every other day if you can. Food dish, I'm guessing. There's no calcium thing. A lot of the people I'm noticing don't actually use the little calcium dishes and stuff that are left out. I usually try to. You've also got this. I would take this little thermometer off. They're not very accurate, and you'd be better off with a digital one. I don't know how this one's heated. I'm giving this one, look, I have to, it's all relative to the others. 2 stars. but I think you're on the right track, and the leopard gecko looks good from what I can tell. We've got a carpet python set up, a very tiny carpet with a very big enclosure, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. Again, the covered, I think that's a ceramic heat emitter. They literally just put a potted plant in there. Is it? I can't tell if the plant's okay or not. It looks a little bit sad. Carpets, I mean, they have slightly higher humidity, so again, hopefully this is... It looks like actually laminate and not real wood, so I'm sure it won't rot. I like the color of the wood, I'll admit. It's pretty cool, but nothing to this is special to me. They also have an analog thermometer, which I just think are dumb, so I give it 3 stars. But 3 stars, I mean, I'd say that's passing. Under the 3 is like when I would change something. That's a lot of text. If you thought I was gonna read the text, I wasn't going to. I was just gonna look at the picture. It's a leopard gecko. Garrus's tank. I don't know what this is. You've got some little air plants in there. Those are cute. Where's the gecko? I don't see the gecko anywhere. I also can't tell how big this is. I would 100% not guess this is for a leopard gecko. And I don't think that's necessarily bad. They've also got the bearded dragon net. I've actually seen multiple people use these for leopard geckos. I don't know what leopard gecko would use it, but cool. Again, we've got another bioactive. I'm very surprised how many, 1, bioactives there are, and 2, bioactive leopard gecko setups there are. They've got springtails, isopods, stuff like that. It's an 80-watt deep heat projector above the slate. I think that's cool. I think that is also a lot easier to regulate than a heat lamp. I still prefer a heat mat, but that works. And it allows the gecko to be out. The only other thing I like about the heat mat is the gecko can be hidden while they're staying warm. So of course, naturally, if a gecko wants to heat up, they're gonna be out on a warm surface. They kind of have to be, because it's not gonna be as warm if they're hidden. But the nice thing is, in an artificial setup, you can change little things, but I like this. We've got a beardy setup. Okay, I'll be honest, I don't really care about the temperatures and stuff. We're just here to look at pictures. It's like picking a picture book over a novel. I just want to see the animals. Got the chunky beard. He looks a little chunky, but not in a bad way. He's very big. He is on sand, so there's that. The lamp, it looks like we got a lamp on this side and UVB on this side. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's UVB on both, but they're gonna usually pick the warm area to bask, which means they're not really gonna be getting UVB, but I could be wrong, that's just a guess. Not everyone gives their beardies water bowls, but I do. And it looks like it's just on a straight zoom ed, maybe play sand. I don't know, but I'm giving it 2 stars. Sorry, James, the bearded dragon. Next up, we've got GoHerping is doing tank reviews, so time to get my hopes and dreams crushed and roasted. Cowboy hat emoji, but it's okay, because if it helps me become a better parent, I'll take it. I don't know if any of this info will help anyone, but we've got Rascal, a Rankin's dragon. It's an Australian agamid. I have never heard of that in my life. I don't know anything about Rankin's dragon care, so I'm not going to talk about the husbandry. The only thing I'll say about this enclosure is it just looks a little bit unkempt. Like, the net, did it just fall? And you, like, I get if you don't keep up things super well, but if you're going to, like, take a video of it, like, fix the net. It looks like it's just hanging there. Also, the glass is just really smudgy, so it's my little pet peeve. I hate filming enclosures when there's any sort of water stains. I don't know why there would be water, unless they're a high humidity species and you spray them. Just clean the glass up a little. You've got the tile. I'm guessing this tile heats up. That bright yellow is just so ugly. So I'd say, because I don't know anything about the husbandry, the aesthetics I think are ugly in this enclosure. Get some Windex. Don't put Windex in the enclosure. Take the animal out for, I don't know, get some pet safe glass cleaner and just tidy it up a little, and then it's up to others whether the husbandry looks good or not. So I won't rate this one because I don't know the husbandry. This one's actually 2 different enclosures. They look identical. I can't tell them apart, but they're cool. I hate that fake vine though. Like, look, you've got the, is that fake too actually? I don't know, that vine, it looks less generic. I see these vines everywhere. I'm tired of them. I have a bunch of them. They're so ugly. But the actual enclosure looks really cool. You've got the custom foamed background, which I haven't seen much of. I thought more people did that actually. But this isn't one of those PVC enclosures, which I think are pretty cool. I like the look. I like the white PVC enclosures more, but the black looks cool too. I don't know, maybe I do prefer the black. It looks very museum-esque in a good way. It's like that darkness that you can just kind of bring the bright lights into. So it's cool. Yeah, I give it 4 stars, why not? Got a Russian tortoise enclosure. Turtle tables are very common for them. Probably more difficult to maintain any necessary humidity for certain turtles or tortoises when you do it, but it's very basic and simple. Clearly just custom built. Some 2x4. Those aren't 2x4s. What are those? 1x3s. I'm at Home Depot all the time, but I don't know much about wood. You got your lamps. I'm guessing one of those is UVB. Couple hides and all that. Good old bowl. Do they have a water dish? I don't know. I usually give shallow water dishes for the Russian tortoises, but it's a very fuzzy image, and for that you get -1 star. Also, why is at least you gotta show the animal in the enclosure. It's just painfully boring, so I give it 2 stars. And the last one for my first reviewing of your enclosures, we've got a leopard gecko enclosure. This one looks like it's got the calcium in the top of a pickle jar, maybe? But what is this? I forgot what these are called. Why is this poor plastic swordsman just lying there? Is he being stabbed by a piece of wood? Why is there a ladder? Wait, what? There's a lot of pictures. It's a palm tree. It's a plastic what are those things called? They're not, it's like the cousin to Lego. I don't know what they're called though. Okay, it's for a leopard gecko. It's cocoa fiber, but it's mostly the husk of the fiber, and it's very dry. So it's definitely, it can't be bioactive if it's that dry, I'm pretty sure. I think any isopods or whatever would not survive in that. You've got the gecko peering out from this other piece of plastic with a palm tree. I'm so confused. What is that, a light? There's just a light bulb hanging there. Huh? I have several questions. His tail is huge, which I guess is good. The calcium is just overflowing. I mean, that's fine. Okay, we've got a water dish. It's clean. Why is the swordsman there? I'm so confused. What is this angle? You've got one of the, I don't like those. I don't know if they're accurate or not, but like what's even, I mean, I guess it shows you the ambient temperatures, but it doesn't show you the hot spots. Is that a superworm beetle just chilling? The superworm beetle is the size of his head. I actually had, one person gave me a 40-gallon and they called it Bioactive because it had these, but these are literally just grown-up superworms. And they're very bitter. I'm pretty sure the animals don't actually like the taste of them. I could be wrong there. This confuses me. Oh, he fell. I don't get this at all. I feel like this is actually just an enclosure for the beetle and they just happen to put a leopard gecko in it. I have to give this one 2 stars, okay? So we had a range from 2 stars all the way up to 5 stars in this. If you want me to review some more, then just let me know. It's kind of fun actually to see them and just kind of give my commentary, and you get to see various enclosures by those of you in the community. I'll admit they're a lot better than I expected, but I guess it makes sense again because you're not really gonna share one that you know is gonna be shown to a lot of people if you're questioning the care. So somehow I'll have to lure some people in with less good enclosures because it's more interesting content. I'm not gonna lie about it. That'll be it for this video. Yeah, hopefully this beetle is enjoying life to this day. This was only posted a day ago, so he's probably still upside down in that same spot. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.